Okay, so welcome back. We're still on the Chinese civilization. Just like I promised in the previous video, the main discussion and center of attention now will be drawn to the Tang civilization and ancient China. The period from 300 to 1000, 300 to 1000 was a time of intensive exchange and economic interactions across Eurasia. Several civilizations stand out as major influences, just like the Gupta India, the Byzantine, the Islamic Caliphate of the Middle East, were remarkable powerhouses. Some historians here view the period 600 to 1500 as the Chinese millennium, considering that China was the strongest and the most populous civilization in Eurasia. Those remarkable dynasty which started with the Great Tang Dynasty, just of course, is with in 618 to 907, and lasted longest and occupied the longest period of successes in world history. The Tang Dynasty is regarded by many historians as the most glorious period of Chinese history. The Tang years created for the Chinese an established pattern of power administration that ran through the Song and Ming dynasties into early modern times. Tang sets a standard on many facets of Chinese life, like the Tang civilization is very, very important part of the Chinese civilization, the facets of Chinese life, including literature and arts. Tang China was admired and copied by many people across the world. Then the period of Tang gave China a greatest influence over Eastern Asia for more than 100 years, which is a century. That's very, very crazy. The Tang Empire stretched deep into the Central Asia, and various aspects of Chinese culture spread to Korea and Japan, including Buddhism, which is a religion, and China, which flourished, linking China to a religious community. And Tang China epitomizes an open forum for people and ideas from many cultures. Now let's go on to the Tang imperial power in Asia. During the 8th and 9th century, a series of empires, large and small, stretched from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Of all these empires, Tang China was the greatest, and as civilization was only comparable to that of the Arab. The Tang dynasty established imperial control over peoples who were even far from China, just to know how powerful the Tang imperial power is. The Korea and Japan acknowledged Chinese leadership and cultivated the goodwill of Tang China. Ambitious military campaigns brought Central Asia, the Mongolia, the Manchuria, and parts of Siberia under the Chinese domination. The period of Tang dynasty saw Chinese influence spreading as far as Persia and Afghanistan. This widespread recognition generated intense commercial relations between Islamic and Chinese civilization. Of course, the great Islamic Caliph Harun al-Rashid, for instance, forged a treaty with the Tang dynasty, and this treaty can be regarded as an example of China's diplomatic clout or ingenuity. And again, at the peak of the Tang civilization, China was open to the entire world. Tang military garrisons protected the Silk trade routes of Central Asia, encouraging the flow of ideas and people between China and the Western Asia. Through this vast network, Chinese products like silk reached Europe and places like Egypt and Turkey. The Tang dynasty sea traded linked China with India, Persia, and various Southeast Asian countries. During Tang rule, merchants from all over Asia established temporary or permanent communities in several Chinese city-states, making up the Chinese civilization. And then the Chinese also benefited from this multicultural exchange. Among the products that appeared was the Southeastern Asian, to which soon became hugely popular drink. Gifts bearing ambassadors from diverse regions such as Burma, Java, Indonesia, and Nepal were regularly sent to the Tang court. Just to show you how, of course, a country as populous and as big as China will be very, very powerful. Just even to talk about the Mongolian Empire, from which this ruler came from, which is Khan Genghis Khan of the Mongolian Empire, that is a very big ruler of the Chinese dynasty then, and many more of that. This will be all about the Chinese civilization, about the Tang imperial power in Asia, and then on the next video I'll see you to the Tang golden